Wahab Public Law Library presents Who's Afraid of a Reference Book? Even in these days of easy-to-access electronic resources, there are still times when research requires the use of reference books in a library. If you haven't had much practice with print materials, you may feel a bit intimidated. But have no fear. In this brief presentation, we'll be using items from the Wahab Public Law Library collection to show you the basics of reference books. If your research topic is not law-related, that's all right. Most libraries and most reference materials are set up in the same way, regardless of the subject matter. Fortunately, libraries have friendly staff who are willing to assist you with your research. Unfortunately, because of tight budgets, libraries are often short of staff. Your research experience will be easier if you know how to navigate the resources on your own. When we are speaking of reference books, we are talking about a type of nonfiction. Nonfiction books contain facts or commentary rather than made-up stories. Nonfiction may include history, how-to, travel, and biography. A reference book is a nonfiction that presents in-depth information organized in a way to make researching easier. Examples of reference books include dictionaries, atlases, treatises, and encyclopedia. They come in all shapes and sizes, as a single volume, a small multi-volume set, or a really big set. So how do you find the books you need? Step 1 is to visit the library's catalog. There you can search by title, author, or subject to see what materials the library owns and where to find them. The catalog is designed for easy use, so don't be afraid to jump in and start searching. If you look in a catalog for the topic you have in mind and don't find anything, do not assume there is nothing available. Topics can have multiple terms associated with them, so think of what other words an author or publisher may have used. You may need to look for terms that seem outdated. It takes a long time for catalogs and reference materials to realign with changes in society. A perfectly reliable resource may still be using an old term. For example, if you are interested in the laws of the indigenous or original people of North America, you may need to search for Native Americans, American Indians, First Nations, tribal law, or Indian law. Once you've found an item of interest, you will see the available copies listed by branch name. You will also see a call number, which tells you where the book can be found on the shelves at that branch. Be aware that in library lingo, the word reference can refer to an item that is used inside the building only, as opposed to circulating, which means the item can be borrowed. A library may own 2 copies of the same book, one for reference and one that circulates. As you do your research, you may be using items in both the reference section and the nonfiction section of the library. Now, back to that call number. There are 2 major call number systems, Dewey Decimal and Library of Congress. Most libraries use one system or the other, although the Virginia Beach Tidewater Community College Joint Use Library uses both. There are technical differences between the systems, but for library customers, they work the same way. Think of the call number as the item's address. Each layer of the call number narrows down the location of the item. There may be a neighborhood indicator, such as R for reference, LP for large print, or B for biography. Otherwise, the item will be in the nonfiction section. The first line of the call number is like a street name. Look at the signs on the ends of the stacks to see what numbers are covered in each aisle. The second line of characters is like a house number. This will help you find the correct shelf. If there is a third line, think of it as an apartment number. This will further pinpoint the item among the others on the shelf. Spine labels may also contain information such as volume number, edition number, or year of publication. Finding books by call number isn't hard. It just takes a bit of practice. Now let's talk about how to use the reference book's finding aids to discover the information you need. Styles and designs of reference books vary by publisher, but they all have similar ways to access the contents. The first clue may be right on the spine of the book. Some sets show the contents by alphabetical divisions or key words. Some, such as the United States Code and the Code of Virginia, show the title or section number of the law. Inside the book, you'll find a table of contents. It lists the chapter titles, sometimes with subheadings when the chapter has multiple parts. The table of contents is a quick look at the organization of the book. It can be used to jump to a chapter that is relevant to your research. Suppose you want to pinpoint information about something specific. You can do that by consulting the index, which is an alphabetical listing of all the topics discussed in the book and on what page or pages they appear. In a single volume, the index can be found in the back of the book. In sets, there may be an index in each volume, or there may be a separate index volume that covers the whole set. A really big set may have a multi-volume index. Hey, what is this thing? In some reference books, particularly law books, the index directs you to a place in the text instead of to a page number. This symbol, called a Silcrow or double S, is used to indicate the section of text. When referring to more than one section, the symbol is doubled. For example, in the index to the Code of Virginia, you can see the Silcrow directing you to a specific section of the text. You would look at the book spines to find the volume that contains the section you need. Notice that in law, the main sections are called titles. Inside that book, you'll see the Silcrow at the beginning of the title. When using an index, take the same broad approach with topic words as you did when searching the library catalog. Don't give up if you don't find your first choice. Think of similar terms to try. Sometimes an index helps you find another term. An entry for your topic may say to see something else. That means to look for the something else in the same index to find the pages you need. Other finding aids associated with big sets of law references can include case name tables and popular name tables. These can be shelved at the beginning or at the end of the set, so look around. Once inside a reference book, you may see that the text is annotated. Annotations explain or comment about the main text, often with citations to other resources that discuss the subject. Here in the United States Code, the text of the actual law spans the entire page. Below that are 2 columns of annotations. Another method of annotation is to add footnotes or endnotes. You may see tiny numbers or symbols in the text. They can point to footnotes at the bottom of the page or to a list of notes that appears at the end of the chapter or at the end of the book. Reference books can be updated by new editions, by replacement pages, by a pocket part in the back of the book, or by a supplement booklet beside a volume or at the end of the set. Depending on the topic and type of research you are doing, it may be important to use the most recent version of the text, so look to see if your reference book has an update. All right, now you know the basics. So who's afraid of a reference book? Not you. Wahab Public Law Library staff is ready to assist you with using our print collection and online resources for your law-related research. If you can't come to the law library, look on our web pages for links to sources of legal help and information. Thank you for joining us today.